You're ready.
In three,
Recording him. Oh,
two,
what?
one.
We gotta work.
Everything.
We gotta work on the openings.
We really
Hey
do.
everybody, welcome back to Carlo and Fran get OCR Adjacent. That's the title.
This needs
I
to
think
become the title. That is
that's
now
what
what
it
it
is.
is.
That's what we're doing. And this is episode 4. And thank you for making it this
Joining
far.
us? Yeah.
This is a month. This marks like a month, right? 4 weeks in a month.
Wow, that's the most
We've
committed
been
I've
at
ever
it.
been to
We've been
anything.
at it a month. I know. That's a good deal. That's a long term for me for some things.
Same, same. I'm surprised you've not
Anyway,
run away yet.
we got a bunch of
Um,
stuff. Hey, who have you been talking to?
that was
Wait a
more about me
minute.
than you.
Oh, okay. We have something in common, it seems. Anyway, um, I would be remiss if we did not open with some very important viewer feedback that I got from watching the show last week with a handful of friends.
Oh, you had a
And
viewing party.
they are so mad at me because they were like, stop talking over her. Now we'll never know how to say squirrel in French. So Fran, would you please end this week-long crisis that we've been putting my friends through and let them know how to say squirrel in French?
Well, firstly, thank you to your friends for noticing that, but also secondly, I do exactly the same thing to you. So yes, last week we were talking about the difference in squirrel, as you would say, and
Squirrel.
squirrel. Squirrel, that I would
Squirrel.
say. Squirrel. And in French, they say, let's have a sip of drink so my mouth is not too dry.
Mm-hmm.
They would say écureuil. Écureuil.
Okay.
That's it.
There. That's it. Our
But
long national nightmare is over.
it's quite
We
hard to say.
we
Écureuil.
that just seems more complicated than, but so is the French language, I feel like.
Yes. They use a lot. Do you want to know a really interesting thing about the French language and the American language?
I mean, we're here, aren't we?
Yes. So, something that I love about language development is that a lot of it is down to the printing press and what happened. I've got a really good story about why there's an H in ghost, but we'll get there one day. So the reason why French apparently has so many letters in words and American has fewer letters than English, despite being from English, is
Right.
because that very often in the past you were charged by the letter. So Americans, being American, even in 16 whatever it was, removed as many letters as possible to make the printing process cheaper. My microphone has literally like risen to life as I'm talking. It's got very weird. I can hear
You
myself.
sound the same.
But the French would cut out letters. No, add more letters, so it became more expensive. And if that is not still a true representation of the two countries, I don't know what is.
That's pretty fair. I did not know that.
It's like when you see
Well,
the word oiseau, there's like 9 letters and 2 of them are pronounced.
that was gonna I was gonna segue into
We love the word
our
segue.
sponsorship segment, which we call sponsors we wish we had. Turns out maybe now after hearing that, maybe Babble Labs or Duolingo would like to sponsor us, since clearly come for the OCR news, stay for the
Stay for the
language lessons.
language.
That's what I'm saying. So this week in sponsors we wish we
We
had,
had.
I have just one this week,
Mhm.
and it is um a GPS running watch
Do,
company.
do you get lost off it?
I don't, but like, most folks in the sport that we know, they have those gigantic,
Yeah.
GPS watches, and it looks like you could lay your saucer of tea on it. That wouldn't be a saucer. That would be a teacup,
Up.
a cup. Exactly. But you can put the saucer down first, firm base,
Mhm,
then
mhm,
the tea, then the
mhm,
cup, then the
mhm,
tea. Anyway,
mhm.
let's not get into how to construct your tea. But I want one. I had a cheap one. I had a Garmin, like low level Garmin, which was great, except it wouldn't last 24 hours, which sucks when you want to use it during World's Toughest Mudder and it conks out at hour 13. I currently have an Apple Watch, and while it did save my life, thanks to letting me know that I was an AFib, it doesn't last very long either.
And you can't run
So,
in an OCR. Mine ran out during a marathon. Now, granted, I took a very long time to complete that marathon, but it did die about 2 kilometers from the end, which I hadn't even considered. But you
oh, the
can't
Apple Watch
run.
did?
Mm.
Oh, I thought it would get more time than that.
Like I say, it was a very slow marathon.
Yeah, but not like you wouldn't run like a 12-hour marathon.
No, but it's quite old. It's quite old.
Okay.
Um, I do have a Garmin Fenix 2, which I think I
Mm.
got in 2014. Very nice watch. Still works, but the only problem with it is it no longer syncs to my computer. It won't go over
Oh.
Bluetooth, and my laptop doesn't have any ports. So it's a great watch, and I love it. And also, I have ridiculously small wrists. They don't actually look it. And you might say, well, women in OCR are a lot smaller than you. I mean, they I just look so stupid like wearing a big
Yep.
watch. And the Fenix 2 was a really good size. A lot of them are really, really big. They're actually bigger than my wrist. So
So there you
um
go.
I do need one because I have an event
That's what I'm
coming up
saying,
and
right?
I need a
So
watch for.
Garmin or Magellan, if they still make
I don't know
watches,
who they are.
or who are the other guys?
Tom?
Just Tom. They don't make
Suntra?
watches. I
Suntra?
don't think.
Sun
Oh, Sunto.
Sunto, that's it.
Not just Ryan Atkins' dog, but also and Lindsay
A
Webster's dog.
watch.
By the way, have you seen their puppy Noodles?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my sponsor I wish we had. How about you, Fran?
Okay, mine's less serious.
That's
I,
good.
I I was in the States last week.
You were.
I was. And it's a little tricky to feed me because I'm vegan. And that's very difficult in the United States of America. You wouldn't think it was so hard, but they put dairy in everything. And it's quite hard to especially get food like on the road. Like in the supermarket is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But food out and about is really difficult. So I tend to live off Chipotle.
Ooh.
I ate it several times. I ate it lots last time. And World Stuff is Mudder, that was my dinner. I had a freezing cold bowl of Chipotle. I think everyone ate that because they ran out of everything. So a sponsor that I wish we had would be Chipotle.
Heck yeah. I like them.
I think that
I said them weird. That was
I like
interesting.
their
But you
beans.
know, speaking of Americans and our eating habits, I just saw this today, totally off the cuff. Do
Mm,
you know who Joey Chestnut is?
no.
So Joey Chestnut is a competitive eater, and he has won the Nathan's Hot Dogs 4th of July hot dog eating contest like a gajillion years in a row,
Mm,
right?
a Jillian.
And I guess he gets paid about $200,000 as an appearance fee these days because he's like the 12-time world champion or something. So he just signed a 4-year, $1.5 million deal with the Impossible Meat Company.
Mm, which is very
Um,
good.
but but
We don't
because of
have that in
that,
the UK.
oh, you
We don't.
don't?
No.
Because of that, the Nathan's company said, "Oh, that's a competitive brand. Yeah, you can't come to the contest this year."
Naughty.
So the only champion they've known the last like 10, the only reason I even know the sport exists. I mean, there was a guy named
That's like
Kobayashi before him.
OCRWC saying to Lindsay Webster, "You're not allowed to come."
Yeah.
But
And
that's
they've got a history of this. The previous champion was a guy named Kobayashi, and they wanted him to sign an exclusive contract with them. And he's like, no, I want to keep my options open. So they
hate
banned
that.
him from the event as well.
Hate that.
So
I
that's
hate that.
bad times. I don't like when corporate meddling, man.
Corporate,
Anyway,
corporate. But yeah,
so I didn't
I
mean to
got
even
to
talk
try
about that, but I just saw that literally right before we went on air, and
I got the
so that's
opportunity to try some impossible meat in the
so
States.
we don't want you as a space as a sponsored Nathan's hot dog
No,
company. Well,
Nathan's
of
hot
course,
dog. We don't want that. We want
we don't want
Chipotle or impossible
your
meats.
pig buttholes and sodium and whatever else you put in there
I love
in the
sodium.
skin tube.
Skin tubes.
Well, let's get to community news.
Community news.
Community news. You did a little bit longer. I got to take a drink.
Community. Why am I saying community?
I'm just a big pile of community because you want to sound like that guy. I have 4 quick little stories. Um, you have one?
No, I was counting you in.
Okay. Number 1, Ty Williams. I don't know who Ty Williams is, but I've noticed the past, probably for a week straight, Ty Williams every day drops a little Peanuts comic like Snoopy or Charlie Brown in the community. And sometimes it has nothing to do with sports. Sometimes it was like Charlie Brown golfing. But he always puts the tagline, Rise and Grind Mutters. And he does that
It's
every
something
single
seamless.
day.
Super cute.
Yeah, it is. And I hate, no offense to Ty Williams, that phrase.
Oh,
He
Rise
doesn't
and
know
Shine
that.
Mudders. I
Just
thought you were going to
no,
say you
rising,
hated
rising
peanuts.
grind, rising
Rising Grind.
grind.
I thought you were going to say you hated
It's
peanuts.
just been, it's been commandeered by like the fitness influencer, you know, it's
Bros.
like, hey,
Fitness
what's up,
bros.
everybody? I'm just over here rising and grinding. And are you rising and grinding too? Because you rising and grind like me. And then buy all these things that I'm being paid to advertise, which by the way, we'll totally do that. If you send us stuff, we'll totally say, hey, buy us some.
Absolutely. I have no morals when it comes to money.
Actually, my old roommate, Haley, who just had a baby. Congratulations, Haley. She's not going to watch this ever. When she was my roommate, she had a shirt that said rise and grind. She was one of the coaches at my CrossFit gym. And I used to say how much I hated that phrase. So now if I haven't heard from her in a while, she'll text me and be like, what's up? You've been rising and grinding? So,
You
so
can never
no
admit to
offense to
people
Ty Williams.
that you don't like something because they'll just say it more.
Yeah, he doesn't realize that he like totally triggered me by putting that in the thing every day, but I'm
Well,
sure he's a nice guy.
I think it's adorable and kind and community minded and what
All
makes
those
the
things are
Haupert
true.
community special.
Oh, it's a me
So
problem, not a Ty Williams
it's a you
problem.
problem. Don't make him feel
Yeah.
bad. Don't make him
Yes.
feel bad because you have a problem.
Speaking of kind and beautiful and awesome and cool,
I am fine. Thank you very much.
and those other things that you said, yes. Uh, do you know the Hauperts, Charles Haupert and his lovely wife, Michelle? They've been a part of the community since probably 2014, 2015.
I've been a part of the community since about 3 weeks ago. So
Yes. Congratulations. Welcome.
thank you.
They, around the time of World's Toughest Mudder, will be expecting their first baby.
Aw, congrats, guys.
I don't know if they were expecting the baby, but they've got one coming now, so good for
Baby's
them.
coming.
And they're
Oh,
great.
that's
And
lovely.
Charles is a ginger, so insert joke here.
So that's
There you
lots
go.
of baby news today. Haley and your friend Haley, and then Carl's and his one.
It's just this is the baby edition. Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. Now I got the tagline for the episode. Episode 4, the baby edition. Two more stories quickly from community news.
No.
On opposite ends of the happiness spectrum,
Mhm.
but both involve World's Toughest Mudder podium placement people. Happy news. Christian Brown Johnson. Why did that happen?
I don't know, but I'm special and well done, Christian.
Why did that happen? Oh, this is gonna blame. See my editing? See how I put those fireworks in there? No, seriously, that shouldn't. Okay, anyway, Christian Brown Johnson got married to his lovely bride this past weekend out in, I think it was in Central California, and his groomsmen were all part of Team Four Locos, who were all World's Toughest Mudder veterans and have been doing 4-person relay, 2-person relays forever.
That's so nice. So it's the baby
Right?
and marriage one.
So congrats to CBJ on the marriage, and we got the baby coming with the Hauperts. Not so great news, but good news in the end because everybody's okay. Was it 2021 World's Toughest Mudder champion DJ Fox got run over by a truck while riding his bike in Colorado. I can post a picture of his helmet because he showed some dings that he got. By the way, wear your helmet, people. In fact, that's what the caption says in his photo. Wear your helmet.
Always wear
He
your
got he's got his elbows pretty split open. He's got road rash everywhere. But yeah, basically he was on the road and a big truck with a trailer tried to like pass him on an S curve and just gave him a little bump, and down he went. So
that's so uncool.
So thank you for not being dead, DJ Fox, and get well soon.
Appreciate that.
Right?
Right.
I don't want to get on here and talk about somebody dying.
No, never.
That'd be a bummer of a show.
It would be a bummer of a show. So
right?
Thank you for not ruining our show.
Yeah. So, Fran, there were some races. There were some races this past weekend.
So I'm just going to quickly, I don't have community news, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
have just general sport news. And
Oh,
it's
yes.
focused on, oh no, there were two things, two different events. So
breaking news. Oh, you even did a shimmy.
I can move my shoulders.
That's the breaking news shimmy. Good job.
Old woman. So OCRWC announced the start line location, which is moving down to the village of Mammoth Lakes rather than up in the mountains. It's like 1,000 feet lower. And it's going to be closer to all the fun and the action. So check that out. It's called Canyon Lodge. People, that should hopefully be more enjoyable this year for everyone, which is nice.
So like closer down to like the village? Oh, cool.
So last year was kind of up the mountain a bit. Now
for
it's
sure.
down. So there's people can stay in accommodation like right next to the start line.
And
Or
just
they can
roll
stay
out
close to the
and
village, but they can, yeah, roll out of there onto the start
yeah,
line.
because it
Go
was like a
back onto
couple
the
mile trek up the mountain last year, which
Yeah,
wasn't horrible, but
it's
if you
not what
don't
we're
have
used
to,
to. It's not what we're used to. We're
exactly.
used to rolling onto the start line. So for
Right.
like World Toughest Mudder, people were driving like an hour when it was in
That Atmore,
Alabama.
Alabama commute was not my favorite.
But people were fine. But that's just not what people for OCRWC are used to. So having it in the
Right.
village is cool. And another OCRWC news, they've partnered with Legendborn to create country jerseys that you can personalize with your name, which is super duper cool. That's very fun.
I think OCRWC has the coolest kits out there. I really
Pretty
do.
cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool.
I'm not like an overly patriotic guy, but the USA ones with all the I'm like,
Yes.
that's pretty cool.
They are
And
cool.
I learn a lot about flags, nations flags by going to OCRWC because I'm like, who is that?
Are
Is
we
that
go, are we
Sweden? Is
doing
that
flags again this week?
Switzerland? Is that what?
Are we doing flags again this week?
No, we can stick that. We can keep it last episode.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's nice that I learned some flag knowledge. That was actually 2 weeks ago.
No, it was last week.
Okay.
With the mug? With the double-headed eagle? I remember because I wasn't sitting in this room.
Oh, that was up. Oh, that was okay. Correct.
I know you didn't believe me, so I had to prove it. And then another event, which is happening the week after OCRWC, is the Spartan 100-meter and sprint world championships. So if you don't want to travel all the way to California for OCRWC, you can head to Croatia. Or two, if you're a badass hardcore mofo, you can go from California all the way to Croatia, which a few athletes are doing. And that this week has been announced that it is now a trifecta weekend. So there are 4 events happening there. There's a 100-meter and sprint world championship, and then a
Okay.
super beast. So it's going to be pretty fun, and it's taking over a whole island. So kind of Greece trifecta weekend vibes, just in a different location.
The sprint world championships, man, that's like blink and you'll miss that. Well, the 100-meter as well, but boy, can you imagine that? The 100 meters, like
Yeah,
one minor slip, and it's like
we've seen quite a few of them at OCRWC.
no world championship for you, pal.
Nope. I mean, even
What
just
happened?
on a
I
15K
stumbled.
race, one slip and you lose. So when the race is like 30 seconds long.
Yeah, it's almost like if you're really competitive, you have to go fast the whole time. I would know nothing about that.
I just had a real panic that I hadn't pressed record,
What
You
happened?
might see it on my face.
I didn't. I have to go back and look. You thought you didn't press record? Oh, I see it. Okay. That was our community news.
Race results. Race
results.
It is time for race results.
I hope Marvel doesn't sue us because that sounds so much like the Spider-Man theme. Does it? This is also the Faces episode.
I have faces.
The baby episode and the Faces episode.
Have you never looked at my face before? Have you not seen how much it moves?
Have I? No, Fran, I've never looked at your face before. It's literally... Anyway, okay. Get us started, Fran.
I have no European or UK race results from last weekend.
That's okay, but you still have access to all the US ones.
I know.
We are looking at this. Would you like me to? I have a fan deck in front of me. Shall I?
If you could start, that would be fabulous.
Okay.
Race results brought to you by the OCR Report.
That's right. And the OCR Report
no
actually
money.
live streamed this event this past weekend. It was the DECA in Austin. And we're going to start with the DECA Fit Men's Elite. First place, everyone knows him, Nick Riker. Nick Riker, by the way, I had this thought on Nick Riker. I feel like if you took, it's better when I remember what I was going to say.
Yeah, that would be funnier.
Who's our friend, the Army Ranger, Spartan?
Josh Fiore?
No, the other one. He was like the
Paris?
Ranger of the world. What's that?
Evan Paris?
Oh, wow, there's a lot of Rangers. No. You know what I'm talking about.
I need more information, babe.
I know.
How do we know it?
Second place was it was a great bit, and I couldn't think of who I was thinking of. And man, I actually thought about that Nick Riker bit when I got up today, and I was like, that's going to be so funny. And I forgot the other part of it. So could I edit this out? Yeah, but we're real people. We make mistakes. Second place was Glenn Race. Third place, Isaac Anderson. Glenn
I've
Race has been
always
around
said
a long
in my
time.
head Glen Rex.
Yeah. We can go both ways.
Glenn, if you want to get in touch and tell me I'm wrong, please do.
Yeah. I literally asked for some pronunciation help on that, but from our team. So the Decafit Women's Elite. You've heard this name before. First place was Alex Walker. Oh, by the way, for the Deca Austin Women's Elite, if your first name started with A, pretty good chance you were going to do well. We had Alex Walker in first place, Allison Outlaw. That's a badass name.
That's a badass
Allison,
name.
Allison Outlaw. Come on.
Outlaw?
Right? Second place. Third place, Allison Morrison. And no offense to Allison Morrison, that's not a badass name. Not a badass name, but Allison Outlaw, you know.
It is cool.
Just a little, kind of like in the standings, just a little bit above. So by
what
30
I
seconds.
was going to say, because we kind of had a discussion about whether to share the DECA results, because there's this whole OCR hybrid conversation and we don't really know where we stand. But obviously OCR Report streamed it, so we're sharing it. At the weekend in Nice in the south of France was the Hyrox World Championships.
That was massive.
Like, a lot of athletes were there. A
Yep.
lot of athletes were there.
I saw that.
And I don't have the results in front of me because I'm trying not to get too involved in hybrid, even though it's very, very fun and I want to do it. It's just too much information to keep in my head.
Those things, I watched some of the videos that you know, Coach Kyle, Coach the DJ from WTM. He does a lot of DJing a lot of those events.
What does he?
And the sheer mass of those are incredibly huge events.
Yeah.
So it was impressive how much, because he was, I think, in New York a few weeks ago for one, and it's just amazing.
Oh, they're big. They're big. They are big.
All right, moving on.
Maybe
we had
swiftly on.
the Spartan Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Beast men's overall. First place was Aaron Lake. Second place was Derek Steele. Third place, Addison Coles. For the women, Cincinnati Beasts, Sabrina Bouchard. We'll go with that. That was way wrong. Elise McClintock and Callie Seidel, or Seidel, however you want to say it.
All right, I'm scrolling through. The Spartan Cincinnati Ultra men's overall. Yes. Wow, that's a good name.
I'm so glad you chose this one to go first. Go!
Rocky Chan Frocker.
Hey!
Hey! Second
Come on.
place, Andrew Chapman. Third place, Marek Sawicki.
Marek Sawicki, yes. No relation to Brian Gawitsky, former Spartan team member.
Okay.
There you go.
Cincinnati Ultra women. First place, Yara Alves. Second place, Dorothea West. And third place, Amanda Steffen.
Love it.
Love it. Love it. And then the Spartan Tri-State NY Sprint.
Yep.
You know, have you seen those videos that are like, I've seen Australians do it, where they're like talking American and they just come say really funny words like interstate and fall and just words that we don't use. Tri-state is definitely one of those.
Is that a challenge for you? Tri-state is a challenging word for you to say?
No, it's not challenging. It's just a funny American word.
Oh.
Tri-state area.
It's kind of, yeah.
Very American.
Kind of almost two words. It is a little odd. Anyway, who won the men's overall for the Tri-State Sprint?
Sticking to the A's, it was Adam Beach. And second, sticking to the A's, it was Alex Hagen-Weiss. And in third place was Brent Trail. And then
look at Brent, a bee sneaking in there.
Tri-State New York Sprint, Cassandra Gill, Taylor Phoebus, and Sarah Corba. We have got a lot of results today. So
we love Sarah Corba.
Let's roll through these.
Okay. There was also a super in Cincinnati. That's probably the first time Cincinnati's ever been called super, but whatever. Men's overall. First place, Addison Coles again. Second place, Aaron Lake. Third place, Joe Stotler. And for the women, the Cincinnati Super, we've got Elise McClintock. Look at that on the podium again. Callie Seidel, second place. Carrie Beckman was in third place.
And then the Spartan Tri-State New York Super men's overall. Brent Trail. Second place, Adam Beach. Third place, Alex Hagen Weiss.
Was it just the same three people running this race like all weekend long?
Yeah, and
Good
then
for
the
them.
women's overall was Cassandra Gill.
Hey,
Second place, Taylor Phoebus. And third
great
place,
name.
Elisa McLeod.
Wouldn't that be at least the McLeod?
Or
Do you say McLeod?
Or it could be McLeod. There's no
I'm probably
U in
wrong.
it, but I'm probably wrong.
Alyssa,
I
let
get
us
all American names wrong.
There you go. Hey, I think that's it.
Hey, well done.
Man, we like
Really
burned
need
through
to
those.
speed that up, though.
I was like, what's that?
We really need to speed that up.
No, that was fine. I think with how many we had, I feel like that was great.
Okay. Do you want to move on to races that are happening this weekend?
Yes. However, we are contractually obligated at this time to bring you bum 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 the Jack Gorris 30-second worldwide weather update. Take it away, Jack.
Why are you still here? People still watch this? If you're still watching this show, I feel so bad. I mean, it's hard enough to do the weather every week. I mean, what am I supposed to talk about? The weather? Actually, yeah. I mean, it's like 22 degrees Celsius in this room, and that's like 95 American Fahrenheit. Do we even know how to spell Fahrenheit? Like, that's such a stupid word. Please don't.
He's got to learn. He's got to learn. He only gets 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
He thinks I'm kidding. He's always like, it's okay if it goes 35 seconds. I'm like, yeah, it can go 35 seconds, but I'm displaying 30. So, hey, Fran.
Hey, Carlo.
Any events coming up this weekend? How would we know where to find what races are coming up this weekend, Fran?
Well, do you know what? I'm such a silly Billy because I've got this whole list of events that happen each weekend that I spent months and months and months putting together. And do you know what happens? Do you know what I actually could have been doing the whole time?
Tell me.
I could have just been using OCR Buddy.
OCR Buddy? What's that?
Buddy. OCR Buddy is a free-to-use app. It's a free-to-use app which lists every OCR event worldwide, which you can filter by certain things like OCR WC qualifier, I think.
Ooh, that's actually really good.
Everything. So now I actually have way too many events to talk about.
Good news, bad news.
And
good for y'all, bad for show timing.
My signal is not good down here. So coming up this weekend, the first big event is the OCR European Championships happening. On Friday is the 100 meters qualification and the 3K race. If you want to know how the European Championships and the FISO World Championships work, just look at the OCRWC setup because they're exactly the same.
Did you say the Pfizer, like the
Pfizer,
pharmaceutical company?
It's like Fido, but with an S.
Pfizer. Oh, not like the pharmaceutical company who's a sponsor.
No.
By the way,
so
Pfizer.
What else is coming up? So the European Champs happening in Italy all weekend. They have 100 meters, a 3K, a 15K, and a team event.
Awesome. That's kind of like, where have I heard that format before?
I don't know. It's original though. I've never.
Oh,
it's original.
First time I've heard of it.
I've never heard of that setup on those days as well. All right. So also happening is we have the there's a Deca Mile. Lots of Deca Miles happening. There's lots of those. Deca Mile hosted by Underdog Fitness. That's just the one I'm going to pull up. Oh my God, there are so many events happening this weekend.
How about we just tell people that they could get the OCR Buddy app and look up this week?
The Gaylord Gauntlet happening in Gaylord Farm Road in Wallingford. There's the Glasgow Pretty Muddy. And I know what else is happening this weekend that's a big event is the Scotland Infinity, which I was supposed to be doing. And I'm not doing now. Because
you're doing Europe Stuff and Mutter instead.
In Australia, there's the Australia Ninja Games. Colorado Springs Spartan Trifecta event. A lot more Decas. Desafia Valencia Challenge in Valencia, Spain. Dundee Pretty Muddy. Just picking a few out here because there's an awful.
Are you looking up just international ones?
this is everywhere. Mont Tremblant, Spartan Trifecta Weekend, Spartan Canada, National Series. Super. That's a biggie boy.
Oh, that's a big one. Yep. I know there's a Tough Mudder in Michigan.
There's a Mudmasters, the Strong Viking Family Edition, Stronger Viking Water Edition, Tough Mudder Michigan, Toughest Stockholm,
Just said
True
that.
Grit Half. Sorry, babe, I don't listen to you. Warrington Pretty Muddy Kids. Oh my God, I would love to take my daughter to that. But I'm at school. Oh, there's the Woof Run happening. So there we go. If you want to see all of these events, and this is just Sunday, download.
Whoa, you have one of those fancy influencer lights?
I do, and I'm really embarrassed now that you can see it.
Look at that.
I'm very tired. I'm jet lagged and tired, and I looked very sleepy, so I turned my light on.
Did you say woof race?
Yes.
Like WOOF?
Woof.
Or are you trying to say wolf? Okay, like a noise my dog says when she's annoyed. And she goes, woof. Which means like, get me my Benadryl. Because she has allergies. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, if you want to go through the whole list, of course. Where would they find that list, Fran?
Download OCR Buddy, free to use app.
There you go. And we thanks the folks at OCR Buddy because they were like, what's up? Actually, I feel like they gave us one of the greatest compliments we've ever had in show history. What did they say about our show?
They said it's the ADD show.
The ADD show. We put the ADD in OCR.
We put the ADD in Adjacent.
In Adjacent. That's right. We do. Oh, Fran, we are at a point of the show that I call Thoughts on Things. I just started calling it that. And it's where we're going to talk about, like, our thoughts on things. Yeah. Normally, I would ask you a question, or you would ask me a question. We could do that if you'd like.
I mean,
do you have a question?
But we don't have to use them. If you've just got thoughts on things, we can do that too.
I have thoughts on a lot of things, but probably nothing that's show worthy.
Go on. Try me. I dare you.
I was just totally kidding. You were supposed to call me on that. I was just gonna. You're gonna ask me a question now.
Oh, okay. All right. I wrote down 2 questions after you kind of put me on the spot last week. When I had no questions. So I've got 2. Do you want the first one or the second one?
Ooh, I'll go with the second one first.
Ooh. Okay. If there's one thing in history, ancient or modern, that you could have done, what would that be?
Oh my gosh. This is not good for air, but that's, oh boy. Man, okay. I'm trying not to just like stare at the camera. Anything in history that I could have done or invented, is that what you said?
Achieved, done, invented. If your name could be attributed to that thing, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a great one. Oh, I know. I'd be the first person to break the 4-minute mile.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a panic choice, but still, I think that would be pretty cool. Because if I'm one thing, it's slow. So to be known as being fast, I'd be like, oh yeah. How about you?
So I think
it's going to be something really profound, and I'm going to feel like an idiot. But go ahead.
My mum asked me this when I was like 14, and at the time, I said painting the Sistine Chapel. However, having since been to Rome and seeing indeed the Sistine Chapel is incredible, I would slightly sidestep my answer to not dissimilar, but slightly dissimilar, to instead having carved La Pieta.
I'm sorry?
Having carved La Pieta.
Oh, okay. There you go. That was a bunch of
noises.
Yes, I just didn't understand what you said.
Yeah. So I think that's, is that the greatest achievement in all of mankind? Clearly
that's what debate is for.
Or
who's to say?
Or discovering penicillin.
Oh, which was kind of an accident, right?
Yeah,
but doesn't matter.
It was a complete accident.
Yeah. But you know what? A lot of cool things have come from accidents.
Like me.
Oh, there you go. Learn something new every day. Fran, is there a particular YouTube this kind of piggybacks on my one from a few weeks ago, but is there a YouTube channel that you kind of like guilty pleasure? You kind of go like, I'm gonna see what they've posted, or I'm gonna watch this. Are you a big YouTube person?
Ever watch YouTube? Ever.
Really?
Mm.
So you've
I
never
use
watched
it
our
for
show?
like, how do I fix my Dyson?
Oh, it's really good for that.
Yep. How do
Okay.
I do motion graphics on Premiere Pro? Which I apparently should know from my job.
Oh, okay. Well, that's never mind. That's
No, sorry, I don't watch YouTube.
my totally dumb question. Fine. Yeah, me neither. Never mind. I've
What's
never watched
yours?
our show on there.
Well, I have. Okay, then the OCR report to watch myself.
Okay. What's your other question?
Okay,
Whew.
so I asked Dustin this one in the car, and his answer was reasonably not offensive, but I found it offensive because I'm a girl. I'll tell you what his answer was after I've asked you.
Okay.
So, because it might help you answer. So I said, what age, as in your age, so like 12 or 72 or whatever, and decade would you want to live in if you had a choice? So I asked him, and he was like, oh, China in like 400 BC or something. And I was like, well, why? And he was like, well, I could be like a ninja. And it's the wrong words and be a monk and Shaolin monk or something. And I was like, okay, cool. Thank you. What about me? And he's like, well, I'm assuming you don't exist. And I was like, well, in my head, I'm assuming like I would be like 16 in 1962, but my mum would still be my mum. So would it be fun to be 16?
Okay. Okay.
Because my
Yeah.
mum would
Yeah.
still be my mum. And she was really strict. You wouldn't tell, but she was. So yeah, so what age and decade would you choose to live in the whole entirety of the world?
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. What if it was something that I've already kind of lived through? But
You can redo it if you want. But
yeah.
it's also
Yeah.
giving you an opportunity to do something you've never done. You just want to go back
Exactly.
to the 90s, don't you?
I do.
Okay.
I do
I mean,
kind of want to go back.
part of
I want
me
to be a
was
little bit.
thinking I
I
would
want to
want
be.
to be a teenager in the 90s because I wasn't.
I want to be a little bit. Actually, I want to be a little bit older, like a little more established in my career. But it was such a great time as far as technology hadn't gotten so crazy that it was crippling and took over everything that we do. But there was also like there was enough, so it was convenient, but things were still moderately inexpensive, and you could afford things like a house. By the way, the sponsorship from last week has not come through, so I don't know what's going on there. Single family home in Northern California. Yeah, I would say it sounds kind of cheesy, but I'm like, because I always thought like I used to always think like, oh, back in the 50s or the 60s, when you go, oh, the summer of love or the, but I'm like, no. I also think about like, I don't know, I want to live because like back when Dustin was talking about, I'm like, but what if you got malaria? Then you're just dead.
What if you
Like,
got an infection? There was no penicillin because I hadn't discovered it yet.
yeah, because you haven't discovered it. Yeah, so there's certain advantages to being slightly more modern. Like they'll be able to fix you if you like when he gets stabbed inevitably in the 1600s in China or whatever. Like that's pretty much
That would be so rude.
that's pretty much the end of it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a
my
great
second
question.
option would have been kind of like a teenager in the 90s. I was 5
Yeah.
when the 90s started and 15, 14, 15, 14 when they ended. So it wasn't quite old enough. My brothers, grew up in Manchester, so it was the Manchester era. My brothers had a great time going to Hacienda and all such stuff. I didn't do any of that because
Yeah.
I was a child. So
Yes.
that was my second option, but the 60s also sounds pretty cool.
See, and there was also a lot of great like punk rock music in the early 90s and stuff that I was just I got into it, but a little bit late. I got it more like mid to late 90s. So there was a lot of cool stuff that I missed that was right under my nose that I just didn't know existed because it didn't come to me until a little bit later. So to be able to go back and be like, oh, I'm gonna go to 924 Gilman Street and watch Green Day play for like $3, or
Plus, we can buy shares in Apple.
there's that too, right? I'm gonna go see Operation Ivy play at the who gives a what's it little club, or the pizza place or the whatever. So yeah, there's a lot of that comes from about like goes around like music and stuff too,
Yeah,
which
you're a music
that'd be
guy.
kind of awesome. But yeah, that's that.
That's that. Those are my questions.
Those are your questions. Those are our thoughts on things.
Our thoughts on things.
Boom, bum, bum, bum. Hey, Fran,
Hey, Carlo.
this was fun.
Let's do it again next week.
I think we should. Boop. You have to stop recording now. You have to stop recording.